Going
in the spirit.
going every morning.
You are still listening to the Saturday Morning Show, and it is time for the Law and Property Show. And we have Dr. Prince Joel in the studio. And today, I'll let him do his own introduction. He'll tell us a little bit about himself. But today, we're going to be talking about laws governing property transaction in Lagos, Nigeria. And you don't want to miss it because there are a lot of things that people get into that they have no idea. Then when you're in it, you're not trying to look for a solution to solve the problem you got yourself into. So prevention is better than cure, as they always say. So it's better for you to learn on the show. Yeah. We'll go on a quick break, and when we get back, we'll hear from you. Right?
Fantastic.
We'll be back.
Law and Property with Dr. Prince Joel Esquire, live on Inspiration 92.3 FM Lagos.
You don't want me to mention that you're a lawyer,
9:30 a.m. prompt. It's our privilege to introduce an educative, informative, and eye-opening program.
I missaid it myself.
Huh?
It's even good you do a summary. You have it.
I don't think I go
Simple. A lawyer is in your real estate.
I didn't get your profile.
I suppose I sent it to you.
Huh?
No problem.
Did you send it to them?
Yeah, I did.
Get educated.
Yeah. So this morning, I've said that my name is Dr. Prince Joel. I am a lawyer. For the purpose of this program, I'm a real estate investment coach. We shall be looking at the laws that govern real estate transaction in Lagos, Nigeria. In Lagos in particular, and of course in Nigeria in general. And the first one is what we refer or we call the customary laws and practices. Okay. Now, when you say customary laws and practices, these are laws that refer to ownership of land as it relates to the custom and the practices of a particular community. Okay. Yes, in the Yoruba land we have the custom and practice of the Yoruba land. Okay, so that is that for the customary law. The other one is the Constitution. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended now, which is the grand norm. It's one law that governs real estate transaction. And I'll make quick reference to Section 43 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, every citizen of Nigeria shall have the right to acquire and own immovable property anywhere in Nigeria.
Okay.
Anywhere in Nigeria. You can choose to go and own property in Uyo, in Akwa Ibom.
Because you're right.
Even in Zamfara states. Anywhere.
So you're not restricted to your
you are not restricted to any particular state.
Okay.
Yeah. The law gives you that right to own movable and immovable property everywhere in Nigeria. Of course, Section 44 of the Constitution further enacted the common law principle that stands against taking away proprietary vested rights without specific legal authority, and also makes the provisions for compensation. Okay, now it also makes provision for compensation on the event that the right to ownership it's been taken away from you. We look at the next one quickly, which is the Land Use Act 1978.
Okay.
The Land Use Act 1978 referred to Cap L5, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Now, the Land Use Act itself was enacted to standardize the land administration in Nigeria, by virtue of which all lands in various states are vested in the state governor. All lands in various states, in Lagos in particular, is vested in the state governor. Okay.
When you say vested in the state governor, what do you mean? To break it down in layman terms.
The land is vested in the state governor. The state governor oversees the affairs of land.
People understand that.
Exactly.
Some legal terms sometimes. That's why it's not like people don't know, but legal terms can be very confusing.
And I try not to be very legalistic.
Right.
Yes. That's why I said I am a real estate investment coach. All land comprised now. Section 1 of that law says that all land comprised in the territory of each state in the federation are vested in the governor of that state, and such land shall be held in trust and administered for the use and common benefit of all Nigerians in accordance with the provisions of this act. Okay, so all lands are vested in the governor in trust. Now we quickly look at the next one, which is the property conveyancing law. the PCL 1959.
Okay.
Yes, the property conveyancing law. This law, the law applies to Western region, the Western region of Nigeria. The most important provisions of this law is that no sale of land shall be enforced except there is a note or memorandum in writing. Okay, it's bringing about writing. Memorandum in writing, which contains that the terms of the sale and contains the terms of the sales and subsequently signed. So that's provisions of the property and conveyancing law. Now, all conveyancing of land or interest in land for the purposes of creating any legal estates are void unless they are made by deed. Okay, so for there to be a valid transaction, it must be made by deed. Another very important point about the property and conveyancing law governs ownership of property in Ogun State, Oyo State, Ondo State, Osun State, Ekiti, and some parts of Lagos. Okay, now that takes us to number 5. Of course, I don't have all the time. So
yeah, so we're going to try as much as possible.
try. Yeah.
But remember, remember that you can call in to ask questions and to contribute to the conversation as well. You can call the number 0700-923-923-923. Again, 0700-923-923-923. And for those of you who don't know, you are listening to the Law and Property Show, and you have questions regarding that, you can send them in or call the number. Back to you.
Yes. So number 5 is the Conveyancing Act 1881. This act governs conveyancing and property transactions in both the northern and southern parts of Nigeria, except some exempted states. The next one is Illiterate Protection Law or Protection Act. Illiterate, yes, illiterates are also protected. Yeah, there's a law that protects illiterates. So when an illiterate person signs, there is a law that protects the illiterate person when he signs. So this law has been enacted to protect those that are disabled by virtue of their inability to read. Okay, those ones will always go by thumbprints and all that. Write or fully understand the terms and content of a particular property document that does not or that has not been prepared in respect of property transaction, from being defrauded. So this law in particular protects the illiterates, okay, those who are disabled, not able to read or write. And the next one is Registration of Title Law 2004 of Lagos State. Okay, this law, this act is also applicable in some parts of Lagos State, not all parts of Lagos State, in some parts of Lagos State, okay, yeah, which includes Victoria Island, Ikoyi, Lagos Island, Surulere, yes, and few others.
Why just this area?
Yeah, of course, when Lagos State started, before Lagos State expanded, it started with the main center of Lagos, which is Victoria Island. So this law actually applies to those specific areas. It requires titles to land to be registered as first or subsequent registration. Okay, registration serves the purpose of ensuring that title has been registered and investigated. That's basically the violations of that law. I'll try and be very fast. Number 8, Land Instrument Registration Law. Of course, the Land Instrument Registration Law of Lagos State mandates the registration of any document affecting land in Lagos State, okay, which is at the land registry. Non-registration of such document that requires registration implies the document is void. So if you have a document, a land document that is supposed to be registered, failure to register it renders that document void. It's just a piece of paper. You know what I mean? Now, number 9, I love this, Tenancy Law of Lagos State. One of these days, we're going to treat tenancy law. We're going to treat the relationship between landlord and tenant and landlord. That day will be hot. I don't want to go into it now. Let's go on the good first, because that one I major one. Everybody get issue with their landlord. There's always one landlord issue on the other. I'm telling you. So that should be a topic on its own. So every tenant will know their right and how to address right, and you know how to address certain issues. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. So sometimes there's some people who are listening, when you're taking certain, try to simplify it, like this is this, but it also means, because you'll be telling me you're invested in, what's this? True. So you break it down, try to break it down to simplify it. Simplified explanations to make it easy for people to understand. So everybody's carried out. So if they understand, then they can ask questions. The program is actually called Law and Property with Dr. Prince Joel.
Oh, with. Okay.
Yes. It runs in the East.
Oh.
Law
and Property with Dr. Prince Joel. Then sometimes they were taking it. Anyway, I'll go and I'll point out some things to you.
Okay. But you're here to guide me. You know my. For this purpose, you're my mentor, maybe. Or you're my uncle. No, I say you're here to guide me. I just want to see the other one very fast so I can give you to the court.
All right, you are still listening to Law and Property with Dr. Prince Joel on Inspiration 92.3 FM. Before we got on the break, you stopped at the tenancy
Law.
I hope your antennas are up. Mine is up, so let's talk about it.
Yes, of course, this law protects the landlord and the tenant, provides their duties and obligation, also stipulates the terms of rents payable and all that. It's so big. In fact, we can discuss this topic in 1 month.
Do you know I already have a question for you?
No, not today.
Like, I can tell you that this is going to be an interesting conversation. Go ahead.
So the next law people should know is what they call the Lagos State Property Protection Law of 2016. This law protects you from the Omoniles, okay? It protects you from all form of land grabbing.
Okay.
Yes. So that's what that law does. Very important. It also discovered one of these days we discovered land grabbing in Lagos State. One of these days, yes. Number 11, land instrument registration laws, which also are applicable to various states. The next one is the Stamp Duty Act of the Laws of Federal Republic of Nigeria 2014. This one, of course, makes provisions for stamp duty. When you want to perfect your title, you want to register your CFO and all that, you have to go through stamp duty. So this law regulates stamp duty. The other one is administration of estate law of Lagos State. One of these days, we're going to treat will. Okay, when you die, leaving a will, and when you die, not leaving a will. A lot of people go back and
How is all that
and all that. Yeah. So this law, of course, help you when you die, leaving a will, and when you die, not leaving a will. And the administration of estate laws govern that. Then, of course, the next one is capital gain tax. The capital gain tax is a federal law, which applies to property tax and all that.
Okay.
The next one is Rent Recovery and Recovery of Premises Act. This has to do with recovery of premises. Okay. Landlord wants to recover his premises. The government wants to recover their premises. The Act provides for steps that must be complied with by the landlord in evicting tenants.
Can you share the steps now? Or we'll save
no,
for another
it's
day?
a topic on its
Why
own.
are you leaving us?
We're laying foundation.
We're
laying foundation. We'll take all this one after the other in different episodes.
Okay.
Of course, this law is solely aimed at preventing the use of self-help when it comes to the eviction of tenants from a premises. Okay. Then we have the Company and Allied Matters Act, Cap 2020. We'll have the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act. Of course, this one has to do with the planning of a geographical area. The Act governs the management of urban and regional planning in Nigeria. Of course, we'll have the Wheels Law of States. Okay, we'll have the Wheels Law of Lagos State. We'll have the Wheels Law of States, which govern this law aims to guarantee the freedom to make will and dispose of the estates. Okay, wills are to be made following the requirement of the will to ensure its validity. When we'll be discussing will, we will be discussing so you already have an idea of some of these laws that govern real estate transactions. And very often in real estate transactions, people are concerned about sales. I'm a real estate consultant. I'm a real estate this. I am an agent. I'm this. Yet we know little or nothing about the laws that govern this business that we do. And that is why I'm bringing to Lagos or Lagosians today that we need to understand the laws that govern the business that we do. Like I said before, real estate is a gold mine. So people should be abreast with these laws.
All right. So he has dropped a lot of them that sadly I was already ready to throw a question at you. You want to answer me. We're going to save it till next time, but you don't want to miss it because we're going to be addressing a lot of issues.
Yes.
One of the major ones that I'm looking forward to, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to, is the land grabbing one and the one about the tenancy and the landlords. So if you have questions this morning, send us a message to 0817-313-6193, 0817-313-6193, or you can call the number 0700-923-923-923. We go on another break, and when we get back, and I wonder why there are a lot of people who go into property investment. Why don't they bother themselves, with learning the laws about property before you venture into it, so you don't get,
Duped,
swindled
scammed,
or
yeah.
duped. Exactly. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. So you're not focusing on anything today?
No, we can just take one of them.
Yeah, because they have to focus on. Because what you've just done is just highlighted all. There has to be a focus for at least the next 8 minutes or 7 minutes that we have.
I also have a website that I can take people to go read more.
Okay.
Yes, and the next topic we're treating from what you have the document.
So what can you briefly talk about now?
We'll just talk about the provisions of the Constitution and the Land Use Act.
So you can focus on that.
So the governor under this act, of course, the governor is responsible for locating of lands within the urban areas. Urban areas for residential building, commercial, industrial, and cultural purpose. The act is applicated throughout the Constitution of Nigeria and all that.
So you have to, it's different when you're reading and when you're
discussing,
about
yeah.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about one of them now. All right, you're welcome back. So we have given you the laws governing properties and transactions, has given you a long list, which we'll be treating week in, week out. But now he's going to focus on what we're talking about now.
Let's look at the Constitution and let's look at the provisions of the Land Use Act.
All right, so let's look at that now.
Yes, of course, the Land Use Act empowers the governor to allocate lands. Empowers the governor of the state to allocate land within the urban areas. So it is the responsibility of the governor to allocate lands for residential purposes, for commercial purposes, for industrial purposes within the commercial areas, within or for commercial areas, either within the urban areas. That's the word, within the urban areas. While the local government chairman and the local government actually have overseas land within the rural areas, as it were. Lagos now, we don't even know where is urban and where is rural. Everywhere now in Lagos, everywhere in Lagos now is urban. Yes. But if you go outside in Lagos, where you can really see a clear distinction between the urban areas and the rural areas. Yes, it makes so much sense. In Lagos, right now, even the rural areas are overtaken.
Oh yes.
The rural areas are overtaken.
It's getting a facelift, so it doesn't look like a rural area.
Exactly.
Anymore.
Yes. And of course, you know that the governor also has the power to revoke, ownership to land. That's the power of the governor. But the law makes provision that where the governor so revokes your ownership to land or your interest to land, there must be adequate compensation. And there's also a condition to do that. So for overriding public interest, the governor can actually do what? Revoke your land. We've seen that happen severally now. You've not seen where they demolish property and all that. Yes. Or in an area.
The property is located.
Yeah, that's the power of the governor. So much. Yes. The governor can take your land. Of course, there's also a condition to that.
Well, the only way they can take that is if you are compensated.
Before that, the interest must be for overriding public interest.
Yeah.
Overriding public interest. So if for any reason. For instance, there's a land around Lekki, and the government want to use it for a school, or the government want to use it for the development of a public health facility, or for anything that affects the public, or the government finds oil on your land.
Oh, they can kick you out.
Oh, they will. There's a procedure to that where you can actually challenge some of those procedures. Yes, once they go through the process, there's a procedure to that effect.
Yeah.
Once they go through the process and the procedure, the governor can call back that land.
But you get something for it.
No, the law also makes provision for compensation. Yes, for compensation. Now, the word now is if the compensation is adequate. Yeah, they all make provision for compensation. That is the law.
Wow. Oh wow.
You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's as a rich. So a lot of people now also remember that there are properties that are under government. In fact, every property in Lagos is
under the
government acquisition.
Yeah.
You get my point? Yeah. So if we understand that when we're even buying property, we also need to be very sure if a particular property has been exercised, so that you don't buy a property that is, so to say, committed.
When you say exercise, can you break that down?
Exercise means that the property has been released to the community. The property is not under the hold of the government.
Oh.
Because every land in Lagos State is under the government.
So you need to know what I
So so the government need to release the land either to the community or to the family, most often to the community. And that is when it is said to have been exercised. Okay, so once that is done, then it is safe to deal. It is safe to deal.
So what's the process of finding all this information out? That's the thing.
Okay, because we don't have all the time here. For lovers of real estate who want to read more about some of these legal write-ups that guide you in property, I'll refer them to my website.
Okay.
The website is called www.ibejulekilawyer. Yeah, the website is called ibejulekilawyer.com.
Okay, that's the website if you go to find out more.
So if you go to that website, you'll find a whole lot of materials that you can read regarding this and so many other related topics that can help you. And for real estate practitioners, for real estate lovers, I will continue to refer them to explore. I mean, to go to that site and read enough. There's a lot to do. There's a lot. And of course, there's also a book. I have two books.
Okay.
Yes, I have two books. One is called Compilation of Law and Property.
Okay.
Compilation of Articles on Law and Property in Nigeria.
All right.
Yes, and of course, there's a new book coming out called Real Estate Investment, the Due Diligence.
Okay. So where can they get the book? They can find all of that out on your website?
Yeah, no, the first one they can find the soft copy, but by next month we'll be launching the 2 copies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. So I'm sure from next week we'll start picking them one by one.
One by one, yes.
And address them.
We'll address them one by one. We'll take them, we'll discuss topics like co-ownership between husband and wives.
Oh, interesting.
Those who will buy property in their name or in the woman's name. And
or in both their names.
Or come back tomorrow and come and claim it. You know what I mean? We'll see that every time. Yes, we'll see that every time. And those who wrote will and only to discover that the son who is to inherit, or the son, is a vagabond.
The black sheep of the family.
The next king, who is your next of kin. So most of these topics we'll take them on weekly basis.
All right.
As we discuss.
All right, fantastic. So let's give out your details before we go, because we're out of time already.
Okay.
So let's give out your details.
Yeah, for those who want to engage me on further conversation questions, 08020 550410.
Okay.
08020550410.
All right, that's the number to call. And you can also go on the website again. Let's call the website.
ibejulekilawyer.com.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll do this again next week.
Next week, yes.